Hello, my friends. Happy Sunday. So glad to see you again. Hey, I hope you guys have been following. We've been doing our Advent study and reading a story every single day of December. So we're on story number 13 today. So if you've missed some, no big deal. Just go right on back to YouTube and you could follow us on TVC Kids Nashville. It's a kids channel, so it's safe. Parents, if you're listening, you're able to just set it up for your kids and let them watch. And I hope you listen along to some of the stories too. This Christmas time is a beautiful time for the whole family to be studying the Advent and the whole family to study. This is called the Jesse Tree, reading through the family tree of Jesus. So it's been a really fun adventure for me, and I hope you guys are enjoying it too. Go on TVC Kids on the villagechapel.com on the TVC Kids page, and you can find the ornaments that are going to look like this. That you could hang on your tree, and also they have Bible verses and the day and the titles of each story, and then also there's coloring pages. So I hope you guys will get into those. Last week just a couple days ago, we read about Joseph, and the coloring page for Joseph's coat was so beautiful. So I hope you guys will do that. Some of my favorites, we read about creation and Adam and Eve, but we've made it up now to Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. I loved reading the story of Jacob's ladder because it just teaches us how the ladder going up to heaven, we don't have to work. We don't have to work so hard. We have to just trust and love Jesus and allow Jesus to carry us up to heaven. So it was a beautiful story. I hope you guys will go back and listen to some of those if you haven't. And are you ready for story number 13? I am. I'm really excited. So here's our ornament for today. Here's my teeny tiny version of it for my tree. It's a crown. So let's see. I think I'm going to put it up here. Or it's going to fall. One of the two. Have you guys set up your Christmas tree yet? Anybody have any ornaments that fell off? I definitely have. All right. Let's find the page. I will show you here. There you go. That's what the illustration looks like. It's quite beautiful. And at the very top, it says, it's our first verse for this study. And it says, 1 Samuel 16:7, people judge by outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. All right. And I was thinking about Christmas, and our neighborhood has lots and lots of lights up. They're so beautiful. I've been working trying to get some lights up, some decorations up, lots of Christmas trees. So I have video places for you guys, right? But Christmas is not about how big your tree is, how many lights you have on it, how many presents you have under your tree. Christmas is about what? It's about Jesus, right? So we need to remember that. And I thought about the phrase, what's Christmas all about? Charlie Brown, right? Do you guys remember last year when you read the verse from Luke 2? You guys memorized it. You had it in your heart and in your head, and you guys were able to say it. So I hope you'll go back to Luke 2 and you guys will remember that verse and tell your friends and family what Christmas is all about. Let's see what our story today has to do about Christmas. Are you ready? This one says, looking at things from the inside out. Did you guys ever turn your socks inside out? Do you ever take your socks and just put them in the washer in big balls, or do you open them up? All right, do your mom a favor. All right, here we go. It sort of went together like peanut butter and jam. God spread out all of the land around Jericho for his people. So a couple days ago, we talked about Jericho, and God's people, he was giving them land all around there. But now his people wanted him to spread out a king's robe for them. So God gave them what they wanted. They said, we want a king. And God gave them what they wanted. He gave them a king. But the first king, you guys remember who that is? Saul. Yep, that first king turned out to not want much of what God wanted after all. So Saul was not really a king after God's heart, was he? No. So God sent Samuel. Now, I hope you guys remember the story of Samuel. Remember when he was little, he went to live with Eli, right? And he listened for God's word, and then he would go and tell people, right? Samuel was a man who loved God. And so God told Samuel to go and find a king that God had already picked out. And he was one of Jesse's 8 boys. So we've made it all the way up to Jesse. Jesse had 8 sons, and one of them was going to be king. And where did Jesse live? Bethlehem. All right, here we go. Daddy Jesse nudged his oldest son forward, the one that had the big, broad shoulders, right? Those big, broad shoulders, and the one who was tall enough to play basketball. And the boy stood grinning right in front of Samuel. There he was. He's thinking, I'm the one. I'm the oldest. Well, surely, thought Samuel, surely he looks like he could carry a big sword and he would look great in this big dazzling crown. He has to be the one which God has seen to be the king. It makes sense, right? It's got to be the oldest son. But the Lord drew gently towards Samuel. He said, but look here. I don't see the way you see. What? God sees things differently than we do sometimes? You look on the wrapping paper of the outside. That's how you see people, on the outside. But I look at the gift inside, which is the heart. All right, things are going to be a little different. Thought Samuel, but Samuel wasn't alone in seeing how things look on the outside. Grannies and truck drivers and little kids and all of us, we all see things on the outside, right? And sometimes that could make our vision not very clear if we want to see the things the way God sees them. But God looks at the way things really are on the inside. It's sort of like a sandwich. God doesn't care about the bread, but God cares about what's in the middle. So when you make a sandwich, if you see a sandwich sitting there, you could be like, I wonder what's inside, right? There's a lot of sandwiches with just bread on the outside, but what's inside? That's the fun. Is it peanut butter? Is it turkey? Is it grilled cheese? Is it Nutella? Isabella's favorite sandwich, right? What's inside? What's inside that makes it sweet? Or what's inside that gives you protein and strength? What's inside that tastes so delicious? That's what makes the sandwich. What's inside of you is what's important. Do you know what the laziest part of your whole beautiful body can be? What do you think? Think it's your feet? Not probably your feet, right? They work really hard. Your hands work really hard. What about your belly, digesting all those sandwiches, right? And those Christmas cookies you guys are probably eating right now. All right. No, it's not your toes. It's not your belly button. It's your eyes. It's like all of us need to do some eye exercises every day, giving our eye muscles to see things the way they really are. Do you know the very best way to exercise your eyes? It's to walk with Jesus. So if we want to see things the way God does, we've got to walk with Jesus. We've got to spend time with him. All right? When you walk with Jesus, your eyes do the most miraculous things. Your eyes go around turning everything inside out. You start to see the most real, most wondrous things. People, we aren't just bodies. What we really are is hearts, right? We're not just a whole bunch of skin. We have souls. So Samuel tried to see the way God sees. Daddy Jesse nudged his next son up in front of Samuel. But no, Samuel shook his head. Then the next son, then the next son, then the next son, until there were no more sons left. Samuel was still there shaking his head. Nope, not that one. So, how about any more sons? He asked Jesse. Well, there's the little kid brother. Daddy Jesse sighed, but he's a sheep watcher and a goat herder, and he's pretty puny. Ah, Samuel remembered. People care about the wrapping paper on the outside, but God cares about the gift inside. The heart, which can wrap like love around everyone. So God's looking for the heart. Go get him, Samuel said. We aren't eating a crumb until we meet the kid most people would forget. So here it is. He stopped everything. No dinner for anyone. Go get the little brother and bring him here. And when the little brother, David, the sheep watcher and the goat herder and the puny kid brother came running from the fields, Samuel exercised his eyes and imagined turning him inside out so he could see his heart. David's heart was far more beautiful than what the people could see with their eyes. So all they saw was he was young, he was little, he wasn't very strong. But Samuel said, you got to see what's on the inside. Let's look at his heart. And God said, this is the one I picked to be the king. Long after that forgotten little son of Jesse was anointed to be king in Bethlehem, there was another unseen one born in that very same little town of Bethlehem. One who was left out with the sheep because there was no room for him either. There was no room in that inn. Jesus was the most beautiful one, the one who came down so our ugly hearts might become more beautiful in the sight of God. Can you see it right now? Like you can almost see beyond the wrapping paper everywhere to all the gifts inside. Those gifts are inside all of us. All our hearts are shimmering. So God sent Jesus so Jesus could take our hearts and show them to God, but through him, right? When Jesus takes all our sin away, our heart looks so much better, don't you think? Don't you think our heart is beautiful when God sees it through Jesus? Yes, it is. All right, let me show you guys just a little example here. Put my little Christmas tree down and grab this bag. So I've got this big giant box, right? And I've got this teeny tiny little bag. Now, well, we're going, you guys run downstairs to your Christmas tree first thing in the morning on Christmas Day. Which one are you going to run to? All of us humans say this one. All of us humans say this big giant box, it has to be the best. It has to be the most wonderful. This tiny little bag, it doesn't look good at all. It looks like something you take your lunch in. Let's see. This big giant box, what's inside? A plain old piece of paper. All right, it doesn't look like much at all, right? I will tell you though, even this plain old piece of paper has hope. Because with God, there is hope for all of us, no matter what we've done, no matter what we do. And it's just plain right now, but what could be made out of it? What could be drawn on it? What could be written on it? There's hope. But right now, that doesn't look like a whole lot, does it? This plain old one that people might even forget, might even not even pick up. It may be stuck behind the Christmas tree. You open that one, and surprise to us, what's inside the plain wrapping could be a beautiful, beautiful heart, right? Now, is this heart perfect? No. It even has some cracks in it. But what this heart has is love for God, right? And love for his people. So look beyond the wrapping paper, guys. Look outside. Use our eyes the way God wants us to see things. Let us see things the way God does. And I hope that you will remember that baby Jesus came not as a big giant wrapped package with all kinds of beauty, right? He came as a small little baby. He was the King of Kings. He could have come in all glory. And he came as a small baby to change our hearts, to work on our hearts so that they could love God and love others. Let's spend time with Jesus. Ask him to help you see your friends and family the way God sees them. Wouldn't that be such a beautiful Christmas? Let our hearts be changed so that we spend time with Jesus and we become more like him each and every day. That's my challenge. That's my goal for my heart every day, is that I want to be more like Jesus. And I hope you guys do too. So I will see you every day this week with more stories in our Jesse Tree story and more time just to spend learning about Jesus this Christmas time. I love you guys, and I hope you have a beautiful week.